Alright, thank God it's Friday. Isang mapagpalang umaga po sa ating lahat. Today is January 21, 2022. Hashtag Team LRC is back for a new set of learning sessions through our webinar series entitled New Year, Better You, a webinar series on how to take your personal and professional growth to the next level. So, kamusta po ang bawat isa sa atin? We do hope all is well with you and your families. Ano po, especially during this challenging times. Talaga namang wala pa po, kalahati pa lamang po sa buwan ng Enero, pero si 2022 hindi na mabiro. Sa mga nagsabi po ng bring it on this new year, bakit? No, kidding aside po, these hurdles shouldn't stop us from moving forward and for us to keep on growing. So let's continue to build, inspire, uplift, and support one another. Kaya naman po sa mga nakatutok na sa ating FB Live, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Let us know kung saan po kayo nanonood ngayon. Please comment down below our comment section. Shout out sa ating mga early birds na sina Eden, Angelo, Chrislene, Joseph, Andrea, CJ, Raquel, Jenica, Aliyah, and Mary Beth. Ayan, thank you for tuning in. Kahit na napakaaga ay talagang nakatutok na po kayo kaagad. Siyempre, sa araw na ito, hindi po namin kakalimutang batiin ang isa sa napaka-espesyal na tao para sa amin. Ang aming friendship ay nag-celebrate po ng kanyang 50th birthday today. Golden girl ka na. Happy birthday, Tita Aggie Mora. Ayan, palakas po at pagaling po kayo. Alright? Now, kung wala pa po dito ang inyong mga friendships, classmates, and colleagues, itag na po natin sila dito sa ating FB Live. I-share na rin po ang ating video para sama-sama po tayong matuto sa umagang ito. As of this morning, we already have a total of 1,842 registered participants. I hope on board na po tayong lahat. Time check, it's 10:02 in the morning. Welcome to New Year, Better You, a webinar series on how to take your personal and professional growth to the next level. So for this webinar series, our team prepared 6 sessions for us to level up our professional and personal growth this year. So magsama-sama po muli tayo for 6 sessions. That's until the 24th of February. And today is our first session on hashtag level up, job search hacks for success. I am Cheryl Hermosa Evron, University Extension Associate and Training Coordinator of UPLB Learning Resource Center. And again, yours truly po will be our webinar's moderator. So just a few friendly reminders for our webinar. First, at all times, please keep your comments helpful and considerate to the speaker, moderator, and to your fellow participants. Second, if you have questions, feel free to write them down below our comment section and make sure that they are relevant to the topic for this morning. Lastly, please do not forget to answer the evaluation form after the webinar. Our team will deeply appreciate your comments and suggestions. Please also be reminded that the deadline of responses will be until 1 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday. So for those who will not be able to join us today, kasi may mga ginagawa po kayong mas mahalaga pa, or because you have equally important matters to attend to, don't worry. You can always watch the replay of our sessions on our Facebook page. We now have more than 88,000 strong followers. So again, your continuous and overwhelming support is our inspiration to keep moving forward. So thank you very much po from the bottom of our hearts. Likewise, you can also watch the recorded session on our YouTube channel. Just search lang po UPLB Learning Resource Center on YouTube. We now have a total of 2,410 subscribers. So please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell to keep you posted or updated with our videos. Now, kindly use our official hashtag as well for this webinar series, which is hashtag LRC New Year Better You and hashtag Better You 2022. Yan po ay para mas mabilis nating makita lahat ng videos sa ating webinar series using that hashtag. Alright, ready na po ba tayo for our session today? Ready na po ba? G na ba guys? Welcome G ka pa rin kaibigan. Ang Team LRC, G na G pa rin. So to give her opening remarks, may we kindly recognize in the Zoom space our Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Janet H. Malata Silva.
Isang mapagpalayang araw sa lahat. Welcome to the New Year Better You webinar series. LRC has prepared 6 wonderful sessions for all of you. Maraming salamat sa mga resource persons who agreed to share their wisdom and expertise with us. Nagle-level up ang kahingian ng panahon at syempre, ang kahingian din na tayo ay makasabay. We know that this may be difficult given the context of each and every one, but that is precisely the goal of this series. Ang makatulong to somehow even out the playing field by providing the skills necessary to level up our personal and career growth. Nawa ay marami tayong mapudot sa mga sessions na inihanda ng LRC family para sa inyo. Nang sa gayon, handa tayo sa pagtugon sa mga panibagong hamon ng panahon. I wish all of you to have a very fruitful experience and may you continue to be safe as we face the challenges and opportunities of every day. Muli po, isang makabuluhang araw po sa ating lahat.
Maraming salamat po, VC Ja, for those wonderful words. Ayan. So moving forward, let's have a short energizer. If you already attended our previous webinars, you know the drill and you know what to do. Sa mga ngayon lamang po masusubukan ito, napakadali lamang po ito. First, open a new browser or a new window and then go to www.menti.com and then use the key code that you are seeing on your screen. That is 6009-6087, or simply scan the QR code that you are also seeing on your screen. Then answer the questions there po. Let me also post the link on our comment section so that you can go directly to the Mentimeter or to our energizer for this morning. Okay, all right. It's already posted there. Pwede nyo na pong i-click yan at diretso na po kayo makakapunta sa ating Energizer. So let me just share my screen so that we can all see the live or real-time results ng ating Mentimeter. Ano po? Sige, let me just share my screen here. All right. Check. Okay, so ang question natin for the first question is, how is your 2022 going so far? So there are choices po dyan: feeling hopeful, feeling thankful, feeling excited, feeling uninspired, or feeling sick, and then feeling fearful. So napakadami po ang sumasagot sa inyo or sa atin na feeling hopeful. Very very uplifting po yun, no? Talagang hopeful pa rin tayo for this 2022 because wala po talaga tayong choice but to be hopeful, to cling on that hope na matatapos lahat ng challenges na ito. Ano po? We already have 133, 136 na nag-a-answer. Keep it coming po, ano? And then second po dun sa feeling hopeful ay feeling thankful. Yung pangalawang madami, ano? Nagpapasalamat tayo na for the past 2 years since 2020, andito pa rin po tayo. We're surviving and we're thriving and we are helping each other out. And meron pong iba na feeling excited, feeling uninspired. Merong 8 na feeling sick. Ayan, sending virtual hugs po ano sa mga currently may dinaramdam. Get well soon po. And then meron ding feeling fearful. Sino bang hindi matatakot na sa mga panahong ito, ano? But once again, ano lang po tayo, let's just keep on hoping and be thankful of all the things that we have at the moment. All right, 199, 202. Ayan, thank you so much for answering. Meron pa po tayong pangalawang question. Let's just check the second question. Okay. Next question is, ayan, kung maalala nyo po sa registration form natin, tinanong namin kayo kung ano yung ultimate goals nyo for this year. So pwede nyo po bang i-rank kung alin dyan yung first, second, third, fourth, fifth, at sixth na priority nyo as your ultimate goals this 2022. And let us give our speaker a background of what you wanted to manifest or achieve this year. So first, ayan, gusto ko yan. Madaming gustong gumraduate this year. Siguro ito po yung mga high school students or college students po natin, mga fellow ISCO and ISCA, mga MS, PhD students natin. Ayan, talagang gusto nila makagraduate this year. Nag-uunahan po silang dalawa ng personality development, graduate, and then, ayan, humahabol ang professional or career growth, healthy lifestyle, financial freedom or stability. O, check din yan. What else? Self-care and self-compassion. Yes, kailangan po natin yan talaga in this trying time. So keep it coming po. Meron na tayong 110. Kaya po ba hanggang 200 ulit? Sige, i-manifest nyo lamang po yan. O professional or career growth. Ay, tamang-tama po yan for this morning sa ating session. Kung gusto nyo talagang makuha yung mga goals ninyo for your professional career, kung yan ba ay dream job, dream company, dream internship, ayan. Para sa iyo ang session na ito. Alright, 172, 174, aabot pa po ba ng 200? Sige pa, hintayin lang po natin mag 200. Talagang graduate, ano? Silang dalawa. Graduate, professional career growth, medyo nandun sa baba yung financial freedom or stability. Mas mahalaga na makagraduate muna and then yung professional career, susunod, personality development, healthy lifestyle, of course, self-care and self-compassion, and then financial freedom and stability. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for answering and participating sa ating Energizer. Actually, ito po yung lumabas dun sa ating registration form na gusto nyong ma-achieve this year. So, true enough, madaming gusto talaga na nagsasabi na gumraduate to become a better version of themselves, better person, new skills, jobs, a new set of skills, financial freedom, personal development, and professional growth. So once again, guys, maraming salamat po for answering our Mentimeter for this morning. Ayan! Ready na tayo, no? Na-energize na tayo before our session. Dahil gusto namin na mas lalo pa po ninyong i-manifest yung inyong mga goals, meron din po ang LRC na tinatawag na selfie challenge. Kasi sabi nga daw po, no, pag hindi mo minamanifest either through your words or writing yung mga goals po ninyo, nasa ere lang siya. So para mas ma-manifest nyo po yan, inaanyayahan po kayo ng Team LRC na sumali sa selfie challenge sa bawat session po natin. So bawat session meron po tayong question na connected po sa ating topic for that day. So napakadali lamang po ng gagawin. Take a selfie or groupie while watching the hashtag LRC New Year Better You, and then answer the question for the session and post your selfie on the thread found in UPLB LRC page. Nakapost na po yun doon. And then Team LRC will be choosing one winning entry and best selfie na i-announce po namin sa susunod na session. Okay? At ang mananalo po at ang mapipiling best selfie or winning entry will receive a GCash prize from our very generous director, si Sir JM Embate. So 100 pesos po yan, pwede ng pangload, di ba? Alright, so ayan, sali na po kayo. Ang question natin for this day is, what is your professional or career goal this year? That is for our session 1 hashtag level up. So, huwag kalimutang mag-selfie at i-post at i-manifest na ang inyong mga goals. Alright? Ayan na. Let's now go to the main part of our session. So, allow me to introduce to you our speaker. Our speaker is an alumnus of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. He is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Human Ecology, College of Human Ecology, and Master of Science in Development Management and Governance from the College of Public Affairs. He is a human resource professional recruiting and managing global talents for international organizations. He is currently affiliated at the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, or AIIB, based in Beijing, China, as HR Officer, Talent Acquisition. Prior to AIIB, he also served as the HR at the United Nations Green Climate Fund, based in Incheon, South Korea, and the International Rice Research Institute, or IRI, here in Los Baños, Laguna. He is a certified HR professional from international certification bodies. He finished CIPD Level 5 Diploma in Human Resource Management and awarded associate membership of the CIPD, or Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, in the United Kingdom. He is also certified Global Professional in Human Resources by the HRCI, or HR Certification Institute in USA. If you guys have attended his session last year, we were given mind-blowing and helpful tips in resume writing and job interview. Since then, he never stopped sharing his passion through a series of webinars all over the Philippines and abroad. He promised us that he will be back with more advanced and comprehensive tips for young professionals. And now he is back to share that passion of changing one resume at a time and inspiring one job applicant one day at a time. Here to share with us how to land that dream job, career, or internship, please welcome in the Zoom space, Mr. Brian Carlo Hipolito. Morning, Sir Bri.
Good morning, Ate She, at magandang umaga sa 500 subscribers natin sa Facebook. I-share nyo pa to sa inyong mga friends at classmates sa group chats. Mas marami, mas masaya, mas marami tayong babaguhin na buhay ngayong 2022. Maraming salamat, Ate She, for having me again at LRC.
Yes, sir. So please take it away. Very excited na po kami, sir.
All right, yeah. Maraming salamat sa UPLB Learning Resource Center for providing meaningful webinars para sa lahat, no? At sa pag-organisa ng napakahalagang series na ito ngayong 2022. Isang pribilehiyo po sa akin na makapag-share at makapaglingkod sa inyong lahat ngayong umaga. Muli, ako po si Brian. Ako ay Human Resources Professional for almost isang dekada na. Ang trabaho ko ay makapagbigay ng trabaho at makatulong na marating ninyo ang mga pangarap na career ninyo na gusto nyong tahakin. Parang ano na rin yan, ang mission ko ay mabago ang buhay nyo. So sa 516 live subscribers sa Facebook, kumapit kayo dyan. Gaganda, i-claim natin na magiging maganda ang 2022 ninyo at na pagdating sa career, yun yung topic natin ngayong umaga. So i-share nyo ang live video na to sa mga hindi makakatapos. You can always go back to UPLB LRC at panoorin yung video. So let me start sharing my screen. Okay. So, ang topic natin ngayong umaga ay Level Up, Job Search Hacks for Success. At ngayong umaga, we will talk about jobs. So, professional development, ang tema natin ngayong unang topic. So, mag-start tayo sa isang serious talk. Sa totoo lang, no, karamihan sa mga nakakausap ko, mapa-fresh graduate man yan, graduating students, or young professionals, or even yung experienced professionals na, maaaring pati ikaw na nanonood ngayong umaga, marami actually ang clueless pa rin sa buong idea ng paghahanap ng internship opportunities or trabaho in general. Huwag kayong mag-alala, it's not your fault. Walang nag-train sa'yo. You'll be lucky if someone trained you to search like for a job. Even sa akin, to search for a job, alam ko lang before, like, okay, magpasa ako, that's it. Pero, meron akong good news ngayong umaga. I can make you a modern-day job-seeking expert. Guess what? It won't take weeks of training or mahabang oras ng homework and practice. We can do this today, as in ngayong umaga. So almost 500 subscribers ngayong umaga, ang i-share ko sa inyo ay very practical tips na every one of us in the HR profession ay alam na, pero we want to share it with you guys so that I want to share it with you guys para ma-level up ninyo ang inyong job search activity ngayong taon or internship search activity ngayong taon. So kumapit lang kayo for at least 1 hour. Stick around in this session. Sa loob ng 1 oras, tuturuan ko kayo paano magsulat ng resume. How to stand out when you apply. How to be awesome in every interview you get. At ang pinaka-importante sa lahat, how you will negotiate your job offer to help you get paid fairly. So sa session na to, bagong-bago tong session na to, bagong-bago din ang material. It doesn't matter what your situation is. Even if you are looking for an internship, even if you are a recent graduate, even if you're coming back into the workforce after a break, let's say nag-take ka ng break, or mahaba na yung years of working experience mo. I believe we have different set of audiences ngayong umaga. The pieces of advice na ibibigay ko sa inyo ngayong umaga works for everybody. So I'm going to give you specific practical instructions for how to get the job that you want, and better yet, how to do it with confidence. So take notes in this whole session. Okay, let's start with the first session, first of 3. So 3 parts. Let's start with the resume. So in the modern world, no, ngayon digital na, over 75% ng resumes or ng CVs ay binabasa na ng robot, ng software, bago pa sila makarating or mapasakamay ng totoong tao. Nag-start yan sa job sites na ginagamit natin sa paghahanap ng trabaho. So, every major job website na ginagamit natin, pinaparse niyan yung resume. What do we mean by parsing? Kinukuha niyan yung important details and information and keywords sa resume to figure out what jobs to recommend sa'yo bilang user. But that's only the first robot that will try to read your resume. So when majority of job searches ay naging online na, it's way easier to apply for jobs. Sobrang dali na magpasa ngayon ng resume kasi you don't have to go dun sa kumpanya. Online lang, you can submit. And ang predictable consequence nun sa mga companies ay nag-i-spike yung applications, ang dami ring unqualified na aplikante. Ngayon, to combat that, para masolusyonan yon, kasi limitado lang din naman ang oras ng mga hiring managers, ng mga HR people, employers have turned to software. Today, a lot of companies, especially big ones, uses a program like applicant tracking systems or artificial intelligence to receive online applications. And these softwares, they score resumes and rank the resume. So the sole purpose of your resume is first and foremost to get past these robots or software para mapunta
Alright, medyo nagkaroon lang po tayo ng technical difficulty, ano po? Hintayin lamang po natin na makabalik si Sir Bry. Ayan, nagbabalik si Sir Bry. Hi, Sir Bry. Medyo nawala lang po yung audio ng kaunti, sir.
Hello?
Ayan, meron na po, sir.
Let me just share uli.
Opo, just stick around po dahil madami na naman tayong matututunan. Ayan, so take it away, Sir Bry.
Okay. Sorry no, for technological challenges. Na-disconnect pala ako. Ang dami ko na sinabi na connect. Anyway, so yun, going back, we're back in the presentation. So, yun nga, as I was mentioning, yun, yung conventional wisdom is mas maraming colors, mas maraming shapes, mas mag-stand out ka. So, that's already thing of the past. When a human was reading through a stack of printed resume, kasi dati printed pa naman talaga, no? Yung kapag yon before, no, yung printouts, stack of printed resumes na sobrang dami, so yung beautiful design tsaka colorful design yung great way to catch their eye. But again, as I told you in the previous slide, humans aren't the first ones to read your resume anymore. It became digital na. So it's the robots, and all of those robots are imperfect. So robots, softwares, read from top to bottom and from left to right. So your resume should too have a simple template. They can only recognize fonts that they've already seen before. So don't get too fancy. Ang kailangan mo for the online software, AI or robots is para ma-interpret nila yung resume mo correctly 100% of the time. So yun nga, my first advice, guarantee that the softwares or the robots can read your resume correctly sa paggamit ng most boring resume template you can find. So in practical sense, I want your resume to look like this. So that's the first tip. I want your resume to look like this. Just the format. Don't mind the content later. We will talk about content later, okay? I want your resume to look like this and not this. Ito, black and white version. There's even a colorful version of this. I've seen many variety of colorful versions ng resume. No? So take note, okay? I want your resume to look like this. Just the format. Titigan nyo lang yung format. Find kayo ng online template na you will see na very simple ang template. Kasi we spoke about resume parsing technology, keyword matching, Boolean search. Those are the different technologies at the back end on the digital way of processing applications. So this is how it works. This is how information is extracted by the software. So the software will look at your resume, top to bottom, left to right, will process information, will process keywords, use the very most basic fonts that you can use. And then on the employer side, this is how we see it. This is the report, a sample snapshot. Of course, there are different softwares, right? Ito yung sample na nakikita na namin at the back end. Very summarized version of the CV. And based from this, dun pa lang kami magde-decide if we really wanted to look at the CV. So there's even a possibility that real humans won't even look at your CV anymore. Would just rely on the summary or the information that the software will process. So yun, uulitin ko, use the simplest template. Does that mean your resume will look boring? Yes, but you do have some flexibility. So you can use bold, italicize some words. You can underline some important aspects of your content. You can use different text sizes. You can use bullets without tripping up the software. Ang mas importante ay content. Yung descriptions at laman na mga isusulat mo sa iyong resume. So content is king. Now, let's talk about content. So tapos na tayo sa template. Let's talk about content. Anong ilalaman? By the way, no, hindi tayo mag-go through sa each and every part ng resume. You can actually look at UPLB Learning Resource Center. I had the webinar last year. It's still saved in the FB page of UPLB LRC. You can take a look at that. It's 1 hour, 2 hours long actually. And doon, part by part, diniscuss natin, nagbigay ako ng tips, paano siya isusulat at iba-ibang ideas. So today, we'll just go through overview, general resume tips. But if you want to know more, like step by step, you can go to UPLB LRC page. Yung G ka pa ba webinar series. Meron akong video doon. So yun, going back, let's talk about content. Paano nyo isusulat yung detalye ng mga activities at portfolio nyo sa resume? Ang second tip ay to write like a caveman. Ibig sabihin, simplihan mo lang. Diretso, walang palabok. I know the idea of writing like a caveman makes some of you uncomfortable. Especially siguro yung mga talagang communication pros, no? Communication professionals or graduates. You think it undersells who you are. Well, remember this. According to multiple studies, recruiters look at your resume for as little as 6 to 7 seconds. One of the classic pieces of conventional wisdom you'll hear about writing a resume is to dress up your accomplishments. Like, pabonggahin mo. Some people will tell you to inflate the importance of whatever responsibilities you have. Imbue a little grandiosity into your otherwise pedestrian tasks. So, di ba yung mga simpleng tasks, gandahan mo ng packaging, ng sulat. Ako iba. I always believe the simpler, the better. More straightforward, really much better. Well, as we have discussed earlier, the softwares, the robots, the digital age have changed the game. Kailangan natin sumabay. Not only that these softwares and robots sift through your resume to understand who you are, but they are also pulling snippets to present a summary to decide whether to even open your actual resume. So you want to make sure everything you write is not only easy for the software to understand, but it also explains your capabilities very concisely as possible as a good summary. So here are some good examples on how to write like a caveman. Again, this writing a resume, it's not time for prose. For example, these are actual examples that I've collected over time. So some candidates would say something like this: pursued the single most important initiative in the company, which was staffing up for seasonal surge over the years. Utilized multiple methods, including job boards, social media, successfully increased team size. Wait lang. Yeah, team size by 100% under budget and on time. So, di ba, sobrang daming jumble of words, no? Pero in short, ang gusto lang naman niyang sabihin, recruited and managed a team of 25 people for 3 years. Over 3 years. Diba? Kasi, guys, those who will read your resume, these are people, most of the time, more senior than you are. Even if you present it as simple as this, as simple as a phrase or one sentence max, they know what it takes. They know how complex it is. Let's say it's an HR role to recruit and manage a team of 25 people for 3 years. They know they're more experienced. They're on leadership positions, so they know what it takes. You don't have to really elaborate it because they're more senior. The reviewers are more senior than you applying for the role. So same, no? Going through different samples like this one. Manage every aspect of the team's operation, from modeling to how many people would we need, who get hired, to the shifts of people who work, to performance reviews. In short, simply put, it's just all about, okay, I built a workforce capacity plan. I oversaw hiring, scheduling, and terminations. Use the jargon of the industry. Use the buzzwords of the profession, right? So straightforward, diba? This is how to write like a caveman. Ito pa, next. Yan, di-discuss ano yung operational improvements. You wanna cite numbers, which is good. receive internal recognition, which is also good, diba? I mean, simply put, presenting accomplishments, you can also summarize it. I improved margins 10% by reducing employee turnover. So use the right words, use the right buzzwords, jargons of your own industry. So again, remember, ulitin ko, your readers are within the same industry. Most likely more senior than you are. So go to more straightforward descriptions. They believe me, they understand. We all understand the level of work and effort to pull it off. So write like a caveman. Okay. So for example, another candidate. So this is another set of examples. So one of the things a lot of job seekers miss as well, no, ay describing not just what they did, but the results of their work. So ang dami candidates gusto nila naglilista lang ng mga, dinidescribe lang yung mga as in ginagawa nila. Pero yun, they think listing tasks on every job or every internship na ginawa nila, enough na. But take a look at these two examples. Tell me which candidate seems more interesting. Let's say they're applying for the same role. Diba? See the power of numbers? Always talk about impact in numbers. So whatever your last job was, diba, it's for example, if you're a burrito maker, instead of saying you made burritos, you can say I made over 1,000 burritos per week to process orders. Diba? So add numbers. In this slide, I want to show how you can communicate impact. So look at candidate B. So diba, yes, I ask you to write like a caveman, but try to insert some numbers to communicate your impact, to communicate yung internship results, impact, or job results dun sa job na mga nagawa ninyo or internship na mga natapos na ninyo, di ba? So instead of saying you wrote press releases, you can say you wrote 18 press releases over 12 months. So that's quantifiable, and that's okay. That shows how much bandwidth, how much capacity you can do, diba, in a particular period of time. Instead of saying you managed a PR firm, you can say you managed a 3 million annual PR budget, including management of outside firms, diba? And then instead of just saying ran the company customer conference, you can say ran the company customer conference with more than 8,000 attendees, or more than 20,000 registrations and 10,000 attendees over the 2-day event. So diba? Insert numbers, communicate impact. And the first skills you should list should be those that are most relevant to the job that you are seeking. So again, we're talking about content, how you would write. Okay, so pros, writing like a caveman, trying to summarize it, including numbers. Now, let's talk about putting forward skill sets. So when describing your job skills, it's important to describe them as explicitly as possible. More and more employer job postings are prioritizing specific, demonstrable skills, which is why sa paglilista ng skills nyo, and even including how many years you have experience doing those skills, will only benefit you. So years of experience with that skill is better rather than just stars rating. I've even seen CVs or resumes na lalagay nila yung software, kunyari Adobe Photoshop, lalagay nila doon 4 stars out of 5. Okay, anong basis nung 4 stars out of 5, right? Anong, 'di ba? Parang instead of gawin yung 1 out of 5 or stars or self-rating, yung iba meron pang bar, mini bar, graph, tapos i-rate nila doon yung sarili nila. Instead ganun, no, lagay nyo na lang yung years of experience on that particular skill. So particular skill. For example, we just a lot of, let's say, accountants would just say accounting skills. Okay, I mean, accounting world is so big, di ba? Daming concept. So you can be very specific. You can say double entry cost accounting. I've been doing that for 7 years. Di ba? So double entry cost accounting, 7 years. Microsoft Excel, revenue modeling or financial modeling, 3 years. Certified Microsoft Windows Administrator for 5 years. Diba? Diba? So be specific with skills and be clear how long you've been used to doing that particular skill. So ito recap lang, no. Since we're talking about content, you can more thorough discussion is with the Gika pa ba webinar series on resume writing. But on education part, if you just graduated from school, which, okay, congratulations those sa mga gagraduate ngayong 2022 or yung mga kakagraduate lang ng 2021. That's education is an accomplishment in and of itself. All right, that's the nice thing is that if you're a new graduate, you're not expected to have work experience because you're a fresh graduate, right? So for recent graduates or graduating students, include an education section near the top of your resume. Since school naman yung longest job or activity that you've had, then of course you have internships and other activities, you can include that. So you can present your education like this. Diba? Don't just list your education. Diba? Pinaghirapan nyo yan, iniyakan nyo yan, pinagpuyatan nyo yan, bigyan nyo ng hustisya paano ipepresent si education. You can include there the school, address, anong course. You can see it's a very simple template. I just played with the font, with the size, with the, I italicized the description of the course. You can still get attention presenting it that way, right? So it's not really boring at all. So you have your course, kailan ka graduate. I advise just 1 sentence description of your major, of your course. Like, kasi hindi naman lahat ng hiring managers aware of all the courses ngayon, no? Kasi ang daming mga bagong courses din naman na lumalabas. So, diba, just 1 sentence, give it to the reader. Just explain what the course is all about in 1 sentence. And then, relevant courses. So, wag lang kayo maglagay ng random subjects, no, or courses. Make it relevant if you're applying for a particular position. So, look at the academic plan, no, nung course mo. Tapos isipin mong mabuti, okay, ano kaya yung mga interesting subjects, ano kaya mga interesting courses na tinake ko na I think will be interesting for the hiring manager to see. Para lang mapakita ko na I have theoretical background. In theory, I know the concepts and maybe we can talk about those concepts in the interview. Para lang alam nila na, yes, I don't have work experience, but I know the concepts in theory because I've studied that in the university, diba? So that's one good technique as well to show relevancy. Also, your undergraduate requirement mo, like thesis, fieldwork, case study, ilagay nyo yan dyan. Ilagay nyo yung title, lagyan nyo na rin kung ano yung output nung study. Kasi diba, give justice to it. Ang hirap kayang mag-thesis. Diba, ang hirap mag-fieldwork. Tsaka yun yung pinaka-first, academic baby, diba, na product mo yan. Very proud ka na nakapagtapos ka because of that work. So, lagay mo rin siya, lalo na if it's really relevant dun sa position na tina-target mo. Di makikita na nila, okay, fresh graduate, even walang work experience, pero this person has been in the field, gumawa na siya ng ganito, ganyan. So, di ba? That just increases your hireability. Your mas interesting kang tignan on paper. Of course, dapat mas interesting in person as you do the interview. We'll talk about interview later. Then, next one would be trainings and conferences. Now, I want to highlight this, especially right now, no, during COVID time, like ang daming webinars, ang daming nga free pa. Webinars, courses, online trainings. This is the time to upskill. Good job on you. Tap yourself at sa shoulder if you've been attending webinars and online trainings for the past 2 years. Kasi this is really a good time to upskill. Even if you're a graduating student, even if kung nakagraduate ka na tapos you're just taking your time, pero making use of that time attending webinars, conferences, it will actually add value, and you can actually include those activities sa resume. So because of a lot of online webinars and trainings available, it's good use of time and it's very flexible. When you will select yung trainings na ilalagay nyo sa resume nyo, again, nakita nyo naman, I'm not a fan of listing for the sake of showing off na ang daming nangyari, di ba? Ang dami yung natendang training. Huwag nyo namang gawin na magde-dedicate kayo ng separate one page para lang ilista lahat, complete enumeration of all the trainings, even hindi naman relevant yung karamihan doon. So, di ba, ako advice ko, ang pinaka-powerful technique, okay, you can have a mother resume na lahat ng activities mo, trainings mo, nandun lahat. Pero, when you will apply for a specific position, you start from scratch and then you just pick specific parts of those activities into this brand new resume para mas carefully vetted, mas carefully handpicked yung relevancy. Kailangan kasi sa resume, it should be very consistent dun sa tina-target niyong position. Otherwise, mababa ang hit rate. You won't be called for an interview. So, for example, yun, pili ka, no? Pili ka, ano kaya dun sa 30 or 40 online trainings na na-attendan ko for the last 2 years ang relevant. So, ina-applyan ko ngayon. So, let's take this as an example. He wants to be, for example, ito, puro mapping training. So, if I'm you, I'll just pick top 2, top 3 na talagang ang dami kong natutunan. Tsaka, even pag-usapan namin to sa, alam mo, even pag-usapan niya sa interview, you'll be very confident and enthusiastic na mag-share ano talaga yung mga natutunan mo dun sa training na yon. So, have those training listed. Not only ano yung title, saan siya ginanap, kailan, anong date. Kasi usually trainings, very usual for candidates makikita ko. Ililista lang nila saan, anong date, then tapos na, okay. So parang, okay, good to know. Nag-training ka, diba? Then walang added value, diba? Walang impact. If you present it like this, yung wonders na magagawa ng 1 to 2 sentences na para i-summarize lang or i-communicate mo lang ano yung nakuha mong explicit skill sets or knowledge out of that training, it will do wonders. It will wipe away even yung 30 trainings na gusto mong ilagay. 2-3 lang tapos may description. Very powerful. Lalo na if they are very consistent dun sa line of work or career na gusto nyong tahakin. And again, same goes for internships or work experiences. Diba? Don't just list them. Internship, please, wag niyong maliitin yung ginawa ninyong internship. Karamihan na nga, unpaid pa yung internship, diba? Parang, bigyan niyo ng justice. I know one way or another, may naging output yung internship na yan. May it be virtual internship or in-person internship. So, ano yung outputs? Don't just describe na, okay, nag-write ka ng memo, nag-write ka ng minutes, etc. ano yung outputs, ano yung programs na nakasama ka, ano yung projects na na-deliver na kaparte ka ng project or programs na yon. It doesn't necessarily mean that you led those projects and activities, but just provide a concrete picture of anong nangyari at the end of this stint, job man or internship. Anong nangyari, di ba? Anong output yung na contribute mo during those time. And same goes with affiliation. Instead of sabihin mo na sa header na I have good leadership skills, I'm a good communicator, etc. Your affiliations, your student organizations, your community organization na kinabibilangan ninyo, it's a good way of communicating that you have leadership skills without explicitly saying I have leadership skills, di ba? Kung naghawak ka ng positions sa organization na yon, kung naging focal point ka on some of the events, di ba? Pwede mo siya ilagay. It's your subtle way of communicating those skill sets. Kesa you will just claim it without even offering a basis na okay, this is leadership skill, di ba? Kesa sabihin mong you have leadership skills without offering any detail. Okay, that's for the resume. Now, okay, this is new. A cover letter. I've included kasi in the previous session, a lot of people asked as well, cover letter, maraming companies nanghihingi din ng cover letter. So I'll give you some tips. Cover letter 101. We're done with the resume. What is a cover letter? So cover letter, usually that's required, like it's like a mini essay that's required by some organizations on top of your resume. So to appreciate a cover letter and what works, okay, what is a typical cover letter na makikita ko sa araw-araw reviewing applications from candidates? A typical cover letter na let's say 90% of 95% of applicants, they would just reiterate ano yung nakalagay sa resume. Sobrang nasasayangan ako dun sa purpose ng document. Parang nabasa ko na yung resume. So parang offer something else. Kasi it's your time to communicate something else. A cover letter should show who you are, should show your passion for that field, for that your interest on that job. That's your time. That's your space. So use the cover letter. Ngayon, how to do it? I'll give you an example. No, let's take this example. Let's create a cover letter. Someone is applying for a social media manager position. So take note. This cover letter, the candidate is applying for a social media manager person. So the first tip is address the reader. So sabi niya, hala, address the reader. Hindi ko nga alam kung sino ba yung hiring manager sa company. Ano naman, kung kaya lang naman. Kung kaya nyo, find out exactly who the hiring manager is. If you know someone working in that company at alam mo kung sino yung department head or kung alam mo kung sino yung magiging boss or supervisor ng position na yon, or even wala kang kakilala, use LinkedIn. Almost all professionals are now on LinkedIn. So you can search professionals there. You can type by company and by job function. You will see people there. Most of the time, people are there. And makikita niyo yung profiles din nila. It's like an online CV social media platform. Online networking, professional networking tool. So use your online stalking skills. So go to LinkedIn, you saw the job, find out as much as you can kung sino yung reader. Kasi you want to write something to them directly. So yon, just try. If not, then sige, generic to dear hiring manager, to hiring manager. Ganun na lang, kung hindi talaga kaya. Now, in cover letters, keep it brief. One page is enough. No I mean, not everyone hindi naman no one, no? Not everyone reads it and reads cover letters, no, anymore. But your cover letter, its main purpose is also to grab attention. Resume is grabbing attention on a different way, showing your portfolio and activities. But cover letter is something else. It should be brief, say what you need to say and get it out. So for example, so first line, hi Kathy. Kathy is the hiring manager. I saw the social media manager role at which company, which you shared on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's the beauty of LinkedIn as well. You can see professionals sharing positions, vacancies in their respective companies or teams. Next, but make diba? Show your passion, you show your interest. I'm so excited to apply that I almost tweeted about it, but then decided it was best to keep my competition in the dark. The position would be a seamless transition for me. So, diba, your personality is shining through. And social media manager position to, so you're now inserting some aspects of social media in the cover letter. Diba? Again, don't rewrite your resume. They already have it. We already have your resume. So don't rewrite it on the cover letter. Instead, highlight the main key things in your profile that you want to bring to the table. Support that point with numbers if you can. So let's continue with our candidate. So next sentence, the position would be a seamless transition from my current role where I increased social engagement by 300%, extended my client's presence from one social platform to 5, and increased social-driven sales by 50%. So numbers, right? Of course, wag naman kayo, sana ano to, dapat legitimate to kasi in the interviews, you will really be, diba? You will really be probed and asked about these numbers that you're throwing, how you were able to pull it off. So diba? Again, let your personality shine through. Professional doesn't have to mean boring, right? But yung resume template kanina, boring, but that works in terms of content. Yung content is not boring, right? So yun, cover letter as well. Doesn't have to be boring, especially if the company has a more relaxed attitude. So show that you're a real, na totoong tao ka. You're not just a piece of digital paper. I've been following your company for years, and I love the work that you do. I even participated in the TikTok campaign that your company ran. Here's the link. So you can even link the TikTok submission kung meron kang mga kung meron silang mga engagement activities na nag-participate, feel free to share it, right? That shows na you're really following the organization. That shows that you really want to be part of the team, diba? So, then yun, show your personality, diba? I promise I'm much better at social management than dancing. So, diba? Diba? It's just light. But it doesn't lose the quality, the message that you want to convey to your reader. And then you can close with the cause na the very speaks at your core. Yung talagang sinusupport mo na cause. So, or interested ka talaga ring malaman. So, I'd also love to hear more about the company's commitment to donating to climate initiatives. Because, diba, climate change or whatever cause that you're supporting, like tree planting or preventing violence or abuse, kung ano man yan, mental health, diba? The environment is something that I'm incredibly passionate about too. So you can share what are your other side passion interests then. So diba? That's your cover letter 101. One page, your personality is there. It didn't lose focus on the quality of the message pertaining dun sa role. And you'll stand out by this way, di ba? It's not boring. Now, tip number 3 in writing resumes. Especially ngayon, no, COVID time, or for whatever reason, there are different reasons na some of you are out of are wala sa workforce. Nag-stop kayo mag-work, or after you graduate, you just took a break. We call those gaps, diba? Employment gaps, or just gaps in general. My tip ay about sa mga gaps na to, kung whatever reason man yan, most important rule about gaps, be honest about them. And here's the second most important rule about those gaps. Build a narrative around the gap for the recruiter so that they don't do it for you. Okay, so sometimes a well-crafted narrative can make you more attractive to employers, not less. So you need to own those gaps. You need to treat the gap, the experience gap, like any other work experience. I will give you some tips on how to turn your gap years or gap periods into from lemons into resume lemonade. A classic, no? So whatever you do, don't pretend you're still working at a company. So the first one is if you're laid off or fired. My first tip, if ito yung unang reason na kaya wala kayong work, or wala ka, may gap yung period na yon sa work experience ninyo. One is, if you're laid off or fired, do not pretend you're still working in that company if they already fired you or laid you off. It's much better for a new employer to hear the truth, yung katotohanan mula sa'yo, than to get the wrong idea, and the employer will look like a fool when they will call your old employers for background check or reference check, at malalaman nila na hindi ka na pala connected doon. So do not fudge the end date of your employment of your employment. You need to and don't state it's till present if that doesn't apply anymore. Okay, so if you're laid off from your most recent job, or in between, you can optionally include a bullet saying so. You can do that below the job title, below the company, or below the date of employment. For example, you've been laid off because of company-wide downsizing efforts due to COVID-19 pandemic. Don't be scared, because it's pretty common, especially in the last 2 years. Diba? You were laid off due to plant closure because of falling oil prices, or you were laid off due to COVID-19, simply put, or your department is already eliminated, or location is already closed. That branch is already closed. So for those who are laid off or fired, just include that phrase and it should be fine. Okay. Second, my gap or my rest period, because you just raised children, which is understandable as well, diba? Instead of leaving out, let's say 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, when you just stayed at home to raise your children, you can list that as an occupation. Let's say, from 2011 to 2016, stay at home dad or stay at home mom. You can even make it funny, like you can make it humorous to get attention, or at least engaging. So for example, ito, very straightforward, 2011 to 2013, for example, raised 3 children, ages 7, 4, and 12. Or you can say something like, changed 6,729 diapers, diba? Or reduced crying time by over 63%, diba? Received the Best Dad Award from subordinates 4 out of 5 years, diba? So that's given. You raised children, diba? Doesn't have, content is king, diba? Even your gap years, you can you can spike some interest from the reader by being creative about it. Ito, most importantly, COVID time, fresh graduate or young professional or any professional, you just want to figure out what you really wanted to do. It's okay, right? If your resume gap years or your gap period were spent, just figuring out what you really wanted to do, you wanted a mental health break, don't be afraid to list that, but be specific and focus on the things that you did that encouraged growth rather than giving the resume a gap label. You can list the years or you can list the period itself as an experience. For example, 2012 to 2013, explored career options while completing online certifications. Diba? That description says exactly as much as it needs to, while also giving a prospective employer a sense that you did something productive with your time and you are honest. Not everyone can be as honest as this, diba? You can even add descriptions of specific online certifications na natapos mo talaga on this period, diba? Di mas ano siya, mas diba, mas honest, mas real. Mind you, don't be afraid. Hiring managers or employers would even appreciate that even more. Kesa pag titignan mo yung history, may mga nawawalang period and then kapag di ka nagbigay ng narrative why there are gaps, then people will just use their creative minds and imagine what happened, di ba? So unahan mo, ikaw nang magbigay upfront, di ba? Or most common, ito very common din, no? About sickness in general. The experience of having to take time off just to undergo medical treatment or to care for ailing parents or relatives or spouses or children or other loved ones, it's much more common than you might think. So the best approach is to be brief and matter of fact without, of course, providing too much information. Kasi medical privacy is important, no? We have data privacy then, no? Na kailangan isa-isip. And you're not forced to really declare it naman, no? You can just say it's a medical reason. You don't have to provide very detailed explanation about it. So it's best not to list the name of the person who was ill or the specifics of their condition, of your condition, or specific of condition na inaalagaan mo kung ikaw yung caregiver. Okay, but you could actually say something like this, like leave of absence, you became full-time caregiver during a family member's sickness. If someone in the family had COVID and you need to take a break to take care of them, like why not? Everyone will understand. Medical leave of absence due to accident or medical leave of absence due to illness, right? So wala masyadong detalye. It's just medical leave and that's it. And that's okay. Okay, so those are very general tips on how you can be creative and would make your resume and cover letter interesting. Now you're ready to apply. Your document is now ready. You can now submit online to different companies, different jobs. Now, what I wanted you to know, if you spot a job opening, apply to those jobs within the first 2 days as they are posted. Kasi ito insider, my HR colleagues who are tuning in, they also know this as well. In the beginning of a talent search, sometimes, no, not all the time, some employers are interested sa early start of the talent search. So they want to see what kind of candidates that the job is bringing in, or what kind of candidates that we are attracting at the first few days. So if you're in that group of early applicants, you're also being considered against a much smaller group of competition. So the possibility of standing out is actually increased. So yeah, just a small tip. It doesn't work 100% of the time, but if you can try, if it's just open, apply within first 2 days. Kasi they check, they're just curious, oh, basta kaya? Kasi i-advertise nila yan on different channels, then they would see if nag-generate na siya ng interest ng application. You want to be there. You want your application to be there. At ito, okay, kausapin ko kayo dito, don't self-disqualify. Alam ko, napakarami sa inyo, minsan na-intimidate pag nakikita nila yung job description, nakikita nila yung requirements, no? Na hala, parang hindi ko naman kaya to, parang nakakatakot, nakakahiya naman mag-apply. Nga sabihin nila, ang kapal ko naman. Wag. Don't self-disqualify. Sabihin niyo sa akin, Brian, alam ko naman I don't fit the criteria, all the criteria listed in under the requirement section of that open job But mag-effort pa ako. Okay, let me tell you an important truth about job postings. I'm happy if narinig niyo na to somewhere. Pero for those of you na hindi to alam, when we write job descriptions, we rarely create a list of actual requirements. Those are not the actual requirements. What we are creating is actually a wish list. It's a wish list. And often, itong wish list na to, it bears no resemblance to who actually will get hired in the end. So employers are not describing who they will actually hire in the requirement section. So from now on, when you see a requirements header in a job description, I want you to read that as nice to haves. Maganda sana. Ito yung ideal requirement namin. So give yourself permission to apply for any job where you have at least 40% or more of what they are asking for. So look at the requirements and you see, okay, hindi ko yan, no way mamimit mo lahat yan. Sinasabi ko na sa inyo, hindi kami nag-hire ng unicorn or ng ano. Di ba? Otherwise, it will be a unicorn. Di ba? It's not existing. Di ba? Dream candidate yan. Makakita lang kayo 40% of listed sa requirements na pasok, kaya nyo yon, alam nyo 40%, applyan nyo na, no questions asked. Just do it. Don't self-disqualify. Next would be, sa pag-apply nyo, no, apply to jobs where you know someone at the company. Di naman to, palakasan system. Okay, diba, sa job hunting kasi, ito yung holy grail of getting your foot in the door. More than 50% of jobs are actually filled by a candidate who already knew someone at the company. So when you have someone on the inside who can vouch for you, they're essentially pulling your resume from the grips of the software, from the robots, sidestepping the black holes, and placing your resume at the top of the list. That's what referrals do to job applicants. Not only it is more likely that your resume will be seen by the person with the power to set up an interview, but it's coming from someone inside the company that they already trust. So many companies even encourage these types of referrals, paying out bonuses to employees that will bring in new hires. So it's even encouraged to refer. And there's nothing wrong, like, there's nothing like a little self-interest to make someone want to help you. It's it's the job search hat trick. Parang sa magic, no? If you get a new job, the employee gets some cash or some rewards or free donuts or some whatever jacket, company jacket, and the company gets an amazing new hire, which is you. That's already been vetted by someone internal, right? So network, connect, use LinkedIn. Our next section, our webinar next week, we'll talk about how you can use LinkedIn to network. Great. So you're done, you have applied, all things good. You're now waiting for results. You're waiting for an interview invite. So we're done with the first session. This is now, it only gets more interesting. Your resume won't give you a job, but it will serve half of the battle. If your resume, the thing with resume and cover letters is that you know that yung resume nyo ay nagwo-work na if nai-invite na kayo sa interview. So pag na-invite kayo sa interview, okay, oh, it's working. Na nakakakuha na ako ng interest from companies. So the second half of the parang ano yan eh, para yung bumabiyahe. Namimiss na natin ang traveling because of COVID. Yung resume mo, your resume is your airplane ticket, your boarding pass. Now your interview, yan yung journey para makarating ka sa paroroonan mo. So sa eroplano ka ng 3 hours, 12 hours para marating mo yung interview. Ganon din sa interview. You will endure like 30 minutes of interview, 40 minutes of interview, 1 hour of interview. That's the plane ride journey. Bago ka makarating sa destination. Painom lang tubig. Okay. So, how to ace your job interview? In a typical job interview, let's say 30 minutes. Let's divide that to 2 parts. I want you to survive the first 20 seconds. It's very critical. Your interviewer leaps into a conclusion about your hireability. Parang nagkaka-ano na yan, nagkaka-impression na yan. In the first 20 seconds. So their first impression of you will be incredibly difficult to change. While, okay, you can't get a job by just 20 seconds. Walang ganon. But you can certainly lose a job because of the first 20 seconds. So I have 2 main things for you na gusto kong gawin mo within the first 20 seconds as you meet your interviewer, even via Zoom, online or physical. Okay? So the first one, very natural, is give a real smile. What's real smile? Diba? Alam nyo ba na tayo, alam natin yan. Tayong mga tao, we can detect the difference between totoong smile tsaka sa peking smile. Diba? Yung fake smile, it only happen with your mouth. Like, diba? It only happen with your mouth. A real smile is defined by the contraction of the muscles around the mouth at papunta sa mata. You're smiling, no? You're giving a real smile. You're going to find a way to offer a real smile. Bahala ka kung gusto mo mag-practice sa salamin, isipin mo yung mga comedy movies na gusto mong isipin, or just repeat in your head, like, crinkle my eyes, diba? Somehow, you are going to project happiness. I want you to project happiness in the first 20 seconds. I want you to project excitement, right? But smiling, yung real smiling, it does more than bias people positively toward you. Pabalik, it actually calms you down as well. It's like malalim na hininga. Smiling reduces stress hormones in your bloodstream. So it is literally putting you in your interviewer at least. So yun lang yon. Give a real smile. Next, the second one and the last one for the first 20 seconds. Say the name of your interviewer. They will introduce, pay attention. What's the name of your interviewer? This is your final instruction para masemento mo yung first 20 seconds. At ito yung pinakamadali, most natural thing in the world. You just have to speak the name of the person interviewing you immediately. Why are you doing this? Bakit kailangan natin to? Kasi humans, gusto natin, di ba? Humans love being addressed by name. Iba, we view it as a compliment that someone actually remember our names. Di ba? Our name. It's also seen as a sign of respect. You know, by speaking their name, yung name ng interviewer mo, you are demonstrating to the interviewer that you see them specifically, that you're paying attention, that they are important, that you're having a conversation with the person. So you're also creating an increased feeling of familiarity so that you relax as the interview begins. So the key thing here is immediately remembering the person's name. Okay? You're going to use it again later. You're going to use again the name of your interviewer later. I'll have a formula for you, which has a powerful effect to make sure that the interview will just get off at a good start. Okay, so bring a pad and pen during your interview. Write the name of your interviewer or interviewers, if marami. Make sure you know the name of your interviewer. That's as simple as it seems, pero it's very important. A lot of candidates natapos na yung 30 minutes. Hindi pa, nakalimutan parang ko sino, ano nga palang pangalan niyo po? Hindi siya cute pag hindi mo natandaan yung name ng interviewer. So, 2 tips, first 20 seconds. Okay, first 20 seconds, done, easy, smile, remember the name of your interviewer. How you will survive the next 29 minutes and 40 seconds. On the average, interviews last 30 minutes. Okay, yung iba, mas mahaba, 1 hour or 45 minutes. I have some tips, tricks, how you will nail it the next 29 minutes and 40 seconds of the interview. So the first one is the magic first sentence. Okay? Ang formula ay ito, yung name ng interviewer. Hingang malalim afterwards. And the magic phrase is, I'm so excited to be here because fill in the blank. Whatever makes you excited to be in that interview. Simple. Name, hingang malalim, 1 second. I'm so excited to be here because. This sentence is your powerhouse opening to kick off whatever is the first question. It will be a great interview. This is your powerhouse opening. Okay, it doesn't matter what the opening question is. You're going to use the magic first sentence. It works for every possible question. Okay, memorize. Name, pause. I'm so excited to be here. Let's have some examples. So for example, I'm the interviewer. I asked you, oh, can you kindly introduce yourself, your motivations for this application? That's the first sentence, basic. So our formula, right? So I'm the candidate. You can do this. So Brian, yeah, hindi naman pasigaw. Sorry. Parang relax. Oh, Brian, I'm so. Wait, nawala yung 1 second. So Brian, I'm so excited to be here because I've spent the last 10 years building marketing strategies. And what you folks do to build a brand is beyond anything I've ever seen. How did you get the idea to advertise on podcasts? It's brilliant. Diba? That's your powerhouse first opening statement, di ba? Impact, di ba? For example, your interviewer is Margaret. Another example. Yeah. Margaret, Margaret, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here because I love your product. I've been using it for years. I bet everyone here in the company feels lucky to work on a product that is so easy to stand behind. Diba? You insert something, a connection to the organization. It brings either your research or your connection or your interest or your affinity about the brand, about the company. Diba? That's what you will insert. That's what you're excited about. Hanapin niyo yung hugot na yan kung saan man niyo yan mahahanap. Pero gusto ko ilagay niyo yan sa opening statement. Why are we having this conversation? Why do you want to be part of us? Why do you want to work for us? This is the first powerhouse opening of any interview. Another example, Jane. Oh, Jane, I'm so excited to be here. This would be my first job after college, out of college. I've read all about your leadership online on LinkedIn. They are next level. How did this company attract so much talent? I'm just so curious, especially at COVID time. It's so hard to recruit for talent. Di ba? Make it natural. Baka exage lang ako today kasi I have so much energy on a Friday morning. Pero di ba? Look at the formula, di ba? It's just so powerful. So let's break down the reason why this magical first sentence works. So una, no, using a person's name, it just spikes their attention, di ba? It's uncontrollable na response in the brain that puts them at maximum focus of what next you will say. Like you're like getting their attention by calling their name, and then they're gonna pay attention to what are you gonna say next. And then second, expressing interest is incredibly powerful. It's one of the most replicated findings in social psychology, is that people like people who like them first. So it's called reciprocal liking. This proves true in dating, in social groups, and most importantly, in job interviews. So, di ba? Why are you interested here? What makes you interested? Di ba? And third, even though they ask you to, let's say, tell about yourself, let's say that's always the opening question, or introduce yourself. You've immediately pivoted the conversation back to the interviewer, back to talking about them. Diba? Have you seen, we have seen in the previous examples, Harvard neuroscientists tell us people like talking about themselves so much. So it's almost impossible for them to resist. It triggers the same sensation or pleasure sa brain. It's like food or chocolate or money, diba? So you want them to respond. You want to bring back the conversation. You're doing a conversation, not just one line monologue piece. And lastly, this magic first sentence works because you actually have to do some research about the company. You cannot fake this. If you haven't researched about the company, you cannot fake this. It can be easily sensed. Only 2 in 3 candidates will do that research. But if you really want to stand out, know that fewer than 1 in 5 candidates will actually research the interviewer themselves. So the magic, asking a question about your interviewer, yan yung black belt level ng magical first sentence. Talagang yan yung highest tier. You know that the magical first sentence work or is working if actually nag-respond yung interviewer after you immediately have given that response. So pag pag pumatol yung interviewer at nag-respond talaga siya dun sa pivot back question mo, there are fireworks going off in their brain. This is the best possible start to an interview, to any interview. So once you've triggered that endorphin response, it's just so easy to keep it going. So sa unang trick pa lang tayo, magic trick. The second one is maraming mga HR professionals, maraming iba-ibang tawag dito. No? Let's call it hit back the ball. But there's a lot of, by the way, guys, these are common concepts. All HR professionals most likely know all of this, and I'm sharing this to all of you as candidates. So let's call this second strategy hitting back the ball. Great interviews ay when two parties spend equal amount of time talking. So isipin niyo yung tennis match versus bowling, di ba? Yung interviewer niyo, ang interview ay hindi bowling, na yung interviewer yung magsa-set up ng pin, tapos kayo yung nagna-knockout ng pin. Okay? Ang interview ay hindi bowling. Isa siyang tennis. It should be a conversation. Interviewers are trying to figure out what it would be like to work with you. That's why you're in an interview. So they want to learn more from how well you listen. And most especially, not about the answers that you give, but what questions you will actually ask and how you will process new information than they do from listening to talk about yourself. Okay, so your goal is to start a conversation, not to deliver your talking points, not to deliver your monologue. Okay, you just need to make a game of ending every answer you give, if possible, with a statement, and if possible with a question, because it should be a conversation. It's not one-way street. For example, this is the question: what were your day-to-day responsibilities at company X? So you can answer first the question. You can answer, I would make copies, answer phones, and manage my supervisor's calendar. But I took pride in looking for ways to enhance our department culture. I once organized a team building event and some holiday contests. By the way, do you guys actually do those kind of engagement activities here in your company? So, di ba? You answered the question, you brought back another question, and then the interviewer is interested of what you actually did. You're also interested if some of those interesting things is also happening in the company. Another possible answer. I was an intern, so I spent a lot of time as an observer in meetings. So the biggest thing I did was to write up meeting minutes to document decisions. By the way, how do you keep everyone on the same page in the team, in the company? Do you guys have meeting minutes as well? So, diba? You can just hit it back to the interviewer. Kasi no, from employers who wants to hear your questions, you can actually tell a lot more about a person from the questions they ask rather than from the answers that they actually give. Because the kind of questions candidates ask will give you an idea how that person really engages in the conversation, and the quality of those questions will give you an idea how that person is actually engaged in a conversation, not just talking about what are the next talking points na gusto niyang sabihin, diba? If it also sends a message that the candidate is interested, like truly and genuinely interested about joining the team. So that's the purpose. Now, the next one would be trap alerts. Okay, be ready for common interview trick questions. there's no answer you can give to this question that will meaningfully increase your chance of getting hired. There is, however, one answer that is definitely wrong. Okay, when you're asked why are you looking to leave your current job, the answer to this, hindi yan makakapagbigay ng trabaho. Pero may isang maling sagot dyan na definitely mawawala ka na sa picture of being considered for the job. So the following are professionally accepted answers. Because of commute, there's no promotion available in the promotional path na available sa company. You're looking for a place where you can learn new things. You just want to earn more. You just want to make more money because you have children, lumalaki na, or expenses, lumalaki na. Those are acceptable answers. So, di ba? Or you want to be part of larger, smaller, fast-paced organization. Give a professional answer, but promise yourself right now na hindi ka mag-i-speak ng anything negative about your current or most recent employer. No matter how valid yung complaint mo, or kasi denigrating your current or previous employer will always reflect poorly on you. This goes double if you're early in your career. So young professionals don't. Even experienced professionals don't do this. The further you get into your career, the more you'll realize there are two sides to every story. So experienced hiring managers won't swallow what you tell them as a whole. Okay, when someone is unhappy at the job, if hindi ka na masaya sa job, ang mature thing is to just leave, right? Congratulations, you're doing a mature thing. You're being interviewed to other companies, to other jobs, but don't really badmouth your last boss or the company itself. Never make it personal. And next one is one of the most commonly asked interview questions. What is your expected salary? Okay, this one, trap alert, don't get caught flat-footed. At kumapit lang kayo kasi yung last section nito, yung third part, which is offer negotiations. Ito yung pinaka-favorite na part ko so far sa material na to. We'll go through offer negotiations later. I'll teach you some tricks. So when you're being asked what is your expected salary, you can answer something like this. But of course, try not to give a number right away. Kasi interview pa lang naman eh, di ba? Nothing is sure yet. So just give an overall response, general response. So of course, I want to get paid a fair market rate, but there are many factors in how I view the question. The opportunity to learn, opportunity to advance, the people I get to work with, and what I get to work on are all important considerations. So, diba, it will be a valid response, diba? Although some negotiating pros will tell you, oh, no, never name a number first. Actually, later, sa negotiation, I would actually, okay, if you know what you really wanted, like if you know the figure that you're looking for, then better for you. But for most people, they don't know the number, right? So, but if you know, you can actually, it's also even fine if you want to give a number upfront so that it's clear on both ends what are your expectations. But but if you don't want to give a number, then this answer can work for you. So, depende where you are. So great. That's it for job interviews. Again, yung very specific na marami akong job interview, even talking about star format, yung paano sumagot sa interviews and some common questions. Nasa UPLB LRC page siya, GCA pa ba? Resume right, how to issue resume right, resume and job interviews. So you can just go there. The job interviews I've shared tips I've shared today is very generic that would work for everyone. The interview is done. Second half of the process now, it's time to talk about your offer. So you can now, ito na yung time na naghihintay ka, anong result ng interview or interviews mo. And this is the most exciting part. This is my favorite. This is actually my favorite of all the three parts, no? Kasi in negotiating job offers, I always tell people, and this is very common as well, no? Very common anecdote. Sabi nga nila, no, hindi ko alam kung sino nagsabi nito, pero sabi nila, there are only two situations sa buhay na you can make additional 10K. 10K na pera ha, 10K pesos. Let's say there are only two situations in life na you can make 10K in just 10 minutes. The first one is to rob a bank. Okay, and you just have to ask for it. You can, they can give you more than that. And the second situation in life where you can make 10K in 10 minutes is when you're negotiating a job offer. So, di ba? Pag nasa job offer na, congratulations, di ba? Ang galing mo sa interview. Lahat sila excited na to work with you. Napitik mo sila with the magic tricks that we have discussed earlier. You now have an offer in hand. Big decision time. So, I know a lot of you hate negotiating because, diba, everybody is getting along and being nice and you don't want to rock the boat kasi ang ganda-ganda ng usapan sa interview, etc. So everyone is excited, happy, but magtiwala kayo sa akin and just be the bad guy for a few minutes. It's the fastest 10K pesos or X number of pesos you'll ever make in your life without risking going to jail, without even robbing a bank. Just negotiate, internalize this. Negotiating will not scare away an employer, okay? Once they've made an offer, they're as afraid of losing you as you're afraid of losing the offer. So, just ilagay nyo lang yan sa isip niyo. Pag nag-negotiate ako, hindi ko tinatakot yung employer. It's normal to negotiate. I-normalize natin yan. Ika nga, no? So, i-normalize natin ang pag na-negotiate. Pero, fine, I get it. For most people, negotiating ay painful. Di ba? Nakakahiya. It's just not our culture, di ba? And it's not your fault. That's how your brain is wired. So we're so afraid of losing that job offer. You've gone into fight or flight mode. To your muddled brain, negotiating might cost the employer to rescind the offer. No, baka bawiin nila yung offer kasi nagne-negotiate ako. Relax. Let me reassure you that your brain is wrong. Employers do not rescind job offers because you ask for more. You ask for more. So, paki-internalize lang yan. And I'll give you tips on how to negotiate smoothly later. And my message is very clear. You should negotiate. You must negotiate. Kasi as a matter of fact, negotiation is already expected and we already factor into the first offer. Kasi, ano ba? Ito I'm so amazed by the number of people who accept the first offer. Sobrang natetempt ako to be their career coach. Kung career coach nila ako, ang sasabihin ko sa kanila, oh, that's really nice of you to accept quickly, so quickly. But actually, we're willing to pay you more. Of course, I won't do that because that's not my job. I'm not their career coach. I'm their recruiter. It's one of the areas of life where nice guys finish last. Okay? About let me tell you something. First offers are usually discounted by around 5 to 15%. About one third of all job candidates attempt to negotiate a job offer. We all know it. Employers know this. So, but ang tricky part is that we don't know which one third of the candidates will be the ones to try to negotiate. Diba? So it's a rational strategy to discount the offer between 5 to 15%. These are just benchmark. It's not, I'm not quoting industry standards here or whatsoever. And of course, it's also different for different industries. Like for example, sa government, I know, ano na yan, fixed na yan. It's the SG level, salary grade level, that's it. And, di ba? So let's talk about, let's say, private companies, which, numbers are flexible and negotiable. Okay, and let's just fence this conversation sa ganon. Setting disclaimer. So if you want, so diba, it's a rational strategy. You don't know who will negotiate, so you discount your first offer because you're anticipating negotiations. So if you want to get paid what the employer really thinks of your worth, you have to negotiate. You don't have to accept the first number an employer throws out. You can always ask for more. You will not lose anything from asking. Just do it. And I urge you to just negotiate. Just ask. But before you enter the negotiating discussion, maganda no, mag-internalize ka muna. Okay? You should ask yourself, what do I actually want? Aside from the number, well, in this context, napaka-obvious. Ang gusto natin job, ang gusto natin money, diba? But okay, I want you to step back bago tayo mag-usap sa number negotiations later. There are other important things too, diba? Na alam ko importante sa inyo. For example, you may be looking for a flexible work schedule, so you can balance your family and your work and family life. Maybe additional vacation time is important sa iyo kasi you like traveling, di ba? Or you need moving expenses kasi magre-rent kayo to a new place. You're not in that place where the company is. Or you need equipment like laptop or device or internet for the new job. Or you want senior in your business title or great parking spot or ability to bring your dog to work. So whatever that is na gusto mo, ano ba talagang gusto mo? Okay, let's assume all of those are negotiable. Some of those are wants, some of those are needs, and some of those are wants. So before any negotiation, isipin niyo lahat ng gusto niyo. Make a list of all your priorities and then rank them from top to bottom. Ano yung non-negotiables and ano yung negotiables, okay? Kasi another trick is that, aside from money to negotiate, if you can't get everything that you want in any negotiation, the trick is you trade something at the bottom of your list, of that list, for something that's really important at the top. Okay? So just do this, list what you really need before you go to any negotiation. Now, pasok na tayo sa mga techniques. Paano po ba mag-negotiate? Ito, bigyan ko kayo ng 4 na tips. You can find all of these online naman. I'm just summarizing all of them sa inyo. Like there are a lot of job search articles. I'm just serving a summary to all of you, the negotiating techniques popular in the market in this discussion. So, and in my experience as well, being on the other side of the negotiating table for the last 10 years. So the first one is multiple job offers approach. So this is the most effective tactic for inducing employers to increase an initial offer. Just get multiple offers. The more jobs you apply to, the better chance that you have at starting a competition for your services. Hayaan mo sila mag-bidding. Diba? As an in-house recruiter, I can say that the thing that drives our bosses crazy, pag naririnig to ng mga boss namin, na ano sila, ano ba yan? I-close mo yan. Close mo yan. Kailangan natin yan. What drives them crazy is hearing from us recruiters that our candidate, our top candidate is choosing between two offers. No one wants to lose their first choice. No employer wants to lose their first top candidate, diba? Especially kung yung first choice or top choice na candidate na yon ay obviously in such high demand. Alam mong mahirap hanapin at talagang maraming magagawa sa organization. They always ask me what I think we should do to close. And my answer is always, I always tell my bosses, as limited din naman ang influence ko sometimes, but I just tell them, let's offer the candidate more money before they ask for it. And let's do it fast. Well, why do I say so? This is just a strategy. We want to bump our offer to demonstrate our enthusiasm. It's just much more effective than trying to counter after the candidate first had a higher offer somewhere else in another company. So nothing else speeds up a negotiation and favors the candidate like getting a second offer. So it's really that simple. Getting more than one offer changes everything. Now you're entering the world of auctions where crazy things can happen. With two offers in hand or with multiple offers in hand, you can get to relax and just enjoy the journey. Kasi once you get the offers coming in, you don't need to do anything fancy. You just keep telling each other's HR people or recruiter what's the last offer of each one, and you just let them decide who will give up first and which is the higher one, diba? On the offer. So get multiple offers, diba? Be interviewed in several jobs, and when you get different offers, let them chase you. Ako, I would really lock my candidate fast, and I would offer quickly and competitively so that we can get our hire. So that when I go back to my bosses, I would say, oh, we secured this person. We got him. So, diba? And here's the thing. You don't need to have multiple. Actually, okay. Oh, wala naman ako multiple offers. So, paano ko ito matitrigger, no? Actually, even if you don't have multiple offers at hand pa to trigger the auction effects, by just telling employers that you're interviewing at other companies, it's incredibly powerful na rin yan. The more they like you, the faster they will try to lock you down. The faster they will try to speed up their own process. And that includes meeting the price that you name. Now, let's go to the next technique, because we're speaking about naming your price, right? We call this tag price approach, or others, they call it name your price approach. So this is the second technique. It's also very simple. Brian, lahat naman sinasabi mo napaka-simple pero parang ang hirap naman. Believe me, huwag kayong mahiya. Napaka-simple talaga nitong mga sinishare ko sa inyo. Just the second approach, tag price approach, just simply name a specific number. Name it. You know your worth. You should know your worth. So name it. You know what employers want in any negotiation? Certainty. That's why the time-tested best practice for making a counteroffer is to simply name a specific price at which the deal is done. This is the price. If we have this price, we have a deal. This is the vanilla of negotiating techniques. Here's a short version of the tag price approach in action. So you can just say, oh, if you can do X, X is the number. Or, oh, if you can do 50,000, we have a deal. Plain and simple. You know your worth. However, remember, the goal is to give the employer psychological certainty. They want certainty. You're into them, right? They are afraid of losing you, so you want to reiterate they have full control over making you say yes. So instead of very simple statement previously, I would do something, I would respond something like this. This is my first job choice. This job is my first choice. I can already see myself working there. I want to say yes, but the offer came below what I needed. If you can actually do 50,000 or 70,000, name it. What's a number? We have a deal right now. So you can put this in action. No. So that's the second approach. Same plain and simple, name the price. The third technique, third out of four. I only have four techniques for you this morning. So the next one is anchor higher approach or anchoring. Okay. Contrary sa conventional wisdom, there's actually a great benefit in giving the first number in any negotiation. And more importantly, going above whatever it is you really want. So this is known, it's a popular technique. It's called anchoring. Anchor is the number to which all others refer. Anchoring is a cognitive bias in which we unconsciously rely too heavily on the first price or the first piece of information we receive, and it will cloud all future judgments. Retailers, when we do shopping, they use this bias all the time. They will flash to you the original price, they will cross it out on a price tag above where the sale price is displayed. So, 465 before, it's only 350. There's no such thing as an original price. In retail, all prices are, I mean, the sale thing, it's all prices are made up, right? So it's a cognitive bias. Now, it is the same for employers. You can try this technique. So let's say if you're looking to make 75,000 in this new job that you're applying for, ask for 95,000. So psychologically, 95,000 will become the anchor. So if the hiring manager negotiates you down, let's say to 80,000, they will feel like they negotiated successfully and they got a candidate worth 95,000 for less. Like, we saved 15,000. We got him at 80,000. So the higher the anchor you set, the more room there is both for both of you to win. They will think they won. Inside of you, you think you also won, right? So everyone happy. If the employer gives a number first, usually employers will give a number first. So just remember the psychology of anchoring. Don't get dragged down by their anchor if you can. If they go low, politely give a number back higher immediately so that you can re-anchor the negotiation higher. At a minimum, you're creating a range, right, on the numbers. And the last technique, let's call this one small problem approach. So in this approach, the problem is completely yours. And you're just giving the employer a chance to help you, to jump in and help you solve it. So if you just can't bring yourself to make a direct ask, like, nahiya ka talaga, di mo kaya yung first three techniques, I offer you this last approach, one small problem approach. This approach avoids what makes most people uncomfortable about negotiating, fearing their ask will be viewed as, alam mo yun, nagbibigay ng ultimatum. With this approach, you actually serve up a problem that's yours, and you give the employer a chance to jump in and help you solve it. So the technique is very simple. After spending a day with the offer in hand, you just reach back to the recruiter or HR or employer and say the following. This company is definitely my first choice. You can be creative, okay? But reassure them. This company is the first choice. It's my first choice. I'm determined to make it work. I just have one small problem I need to solve before I can accept. And then fill in the blank. What's that reason? Of course, I mean, make sure the reason is legitimate. Like, don't make it up. As in talagang sana kung totoong ano siya, no? Totoo siyang problem naman talaga. So for example, you wanted to ask an additional vacation time. So you can say, oh, I have one small problem I needed to solve before I accept this offer. Naplano ko na actually vacation plans for December. It's already booked. The family is gonna go there. I realize if I accept this offer, I don't have enough accrued time off pa when I start with you or when I start to take it. So, di ba? Then the employer who wants to close the deal, who knows? There's no guarantee, but you're giving them an opportunity to close the deal and really to give it to you. Maybe they can offer, oh, sige, you can advance some of your leave so that you can continue with your vacation plan. So, but yeah, just sign. Let's close the deal. So, diba? Who knows? Diba? There's nothing to lose. You just share them. What bothers you. What's your problem, right? Or you may want to ask for a flexible work schedule. You can say, I have one small problem I need to solve before I can accept. My partner is actually worried about how much time I'll spend commuting to the office. So with that, maybe the employer will start talking about flexible work schedule. Oh, because you're from Bulacan and our office is in BGC or EDSA or Makati. Oh, okay, maybe you can, yeah, internally let's arrange. Maybe you can go to work at 10, 11 after rush hour, so something like that. Give your employer a chance to offer you something. Or ito, this one is a stretch, but who knows, right? I have one small problem I need to solve before I can accept. My student loan interest rates jump in December, and if I don't pay them down faster. So, okay, this is a stretch. Maybe, hindi nila kakagatin or hindi nila papatulan. Like, oh, well, labas na kami dyan, di ba? Sabihin nila sa'yo. Pero, who knows? I mean, maybe your employer would say, oh, okay, if you want to settle up, maybe we can give you an advance salary, or I don't know, advance in whatever bonus or allowance that they can give you in advance, and will just be deducted on your pay or wherever, di ba? But there's no harm, right? Asking and sharing it to the employer. So those are your 4 offer negotiation techniques. So usually, compensation or negotiation discussions, they're frequently negotiated verbally before a final offer is delivered. So now that once you're comfortable to the offer, you have the verbal agreement, your first order of business is to clarify when you can expect the written offer so that you can officially say yes. Okay? And ito paano, no matter how confident you are that you're off to greener pastures to your next level, do not speak to anyone at your current job until you have these 3 things. Tatlong bagay. The offer letter, and lastly, the offer letter. You need to wait for the offer letter to be signed. It's great that you've talked to the hiring manager, to the HR, your potential place of employment, and everyone is on verbal agreement. But until you have the offer in writing, the deal is not yet done. This is unlikely, but a lot of things can happen in between. So be safe, do not resign, do not tell anyone until a contract is signed. And for my final point, I hope all of these tips will help you this year, 2022, in your internship or job hunting. Once you land in your, let's say, first job or first few jobs, consider that job as a journey to learn about yourself. The purpose should be to grow as a human being, to discover what you're good at and what you love to do and what you dislike. So I hope you discover your why and you'll become more passionate in your path in life. And and I urge you to maximize your 20s. So all the learnings, all the opportunities, be surrounded with the right people. Will only lead to more learnings and opportunities. 20s is the defining decade of your career. So maximize it and most importantly, dream big. Our generation is lucky. We can be anywhere we want. We can apply to jobs, any jobs that we wanted to pursue. Everything is digital. Everything is, you can work physically, you can work internationally, you can work flexibly at the comfort of your home. We just have options, options, options. So dream big, don't limit yourself. Again, maraming salamat sa, we still have around 450 people na nakatutok. At sa mga manonood ng recording, maraming salamat for staying in this session. Let's connect. I'm on LinkedIn. You can message me, my full name. Just search Brian Carlo Hipolito on LinkedIn. And I'm giving my email address, bahipolito@alum.up.edu.ph. If you're a teacher, if you're from a school, I do job prep seminars or even HR lectures pro bono. I don't ask for anything. It's just a side outlet for me. I just enjoy doing this. So you don't need to worry about how to pay me. I'm not gonna ask any amount. I just love doing this. I just want, my vocation is to make people happy with their life and with their career and for people to get jobs that they want to pursue. So again, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. UPLB LRC, maraming salamat for having me. And I think we're ready for questions.
Yes,
Nag-overtime na naman ako. Sorry.
Thank you so
Overtime na
much.
ako.
Okay lang, sir. Sobrang hitik na hitik naman. Thank you so much, Sir Brian Carlo Hipolito, for sharing your expertise, your passion with us. Talagang sinabi niya na, no, yun yung why niya pro bono, kasi gusto niya talaga to. Talagang gusto niya mag-share ng expertise, sabi niya noon nung first session namin sa Gika pa ba. Let's change one resume at a time. Ayoko na makita ng resume na may objectives.
Exactly.
Ayan, all right. So guys, the floor is now open. Nandyan pa ba kayo? Paki-comment nga po sa ating comment section, sa ating 400,000 plus na viewers sa Facebook. Mag-heart, mag-like, at mag-comment po kayo dyan. Ano yung mga major takeaways po ninyo from Sir Brian's session? 4 po yun, no? Resume writing, cover letter writing, job interview tips, mind-blowing na naman po yung mga binigay niya. And yung lastly ay negotiating your offer. Na sabi nga ni NJ, sana daw, I wish I knew this before. Sabi ni NJ, I remember my experience before as much as I do not want to say, I regret accepting that offer. At sabi kasi ni Sir, di ba, know your worth. Naalala ko, Sir, yung from your words, yung nanay ko, siyempre fresh graduate, sabi niya, dapat i-negotiate mo yung offer sa'yo kasi UP grad ka. Parang ganabi ko, wala pa akong experience. Pero oo nga po, no, yung pinagdaanan natin sa college, mahirap nang pumasok, mas mahirap lumabas. So,
Exactly.
ayan. All right, we already have many questions here, sir, no? So just shout out po sa mga nandyan pa rin, lalo na kay Tita Agi, ang ating birthday girl, nakatutok siya, o diba? Good afternoon,
Birthday!
Tita Agi. Anong mga major takeaways nyo, guys? Ayan, si John Paul, do not say something bad against your former employer. And what else? Ayan, ang dami ng question. Unahin ko to, sir, yung pinaka-question namin sa LRC. Meron na kaming number 1. What should be, sir, what goals should we set for ourselves to be a better version of ourselves? Ano daw po yung mga goals na dapat namin iset? Siguro in terms of professional and career growth po, so that we can become a better version of ourselves.
Oh wow, that's a good question, no? So we have 6 different topics and there are 6 different answers to it. Finances, career, personal brand, etc. Since our topic is about careers, I think my answer to that is bago nyo gawin lahat ng mga pinag-usapan natin today, application, resume, cover letter, etc., you start with the most basic question. This is the most basic question na sobrang hirap sagutin minsan, especially if you're still figuring out what to do or you just came out from college. What it is that you're really passionate about? What it is that you really wanted to do? Because and take time, no, take time answering that question, because the answer to that question can change, and the answer to that question can also not come will also not come soon for others. For others na masasagot na yung tanong na yan at the very early stage of their life, lucky for them. But for those of you na even hanggang ngayon wala pang sagot dyan, I think that's the central question. The central question of careers is that pursue a career that will also become your vocation. That's the ideal that you feel strongly about doing as well. That will wake you up inspired every day because you feel connected to that purpose. You feel connected. You're not just doing it because of the money. Okay, napaka-ideal nito. If you don't know yet your path, you can try jobs one from another and explore and really test it out, what works and not work for you. But really, for professional growth, especially if you completely have the time in your life right now, just reflect what you really wanted to do. Make an inventory of all the activities that you've done before. Do sa mga activities na yon, what did you enjoy most? Ano yung mga affiliations mo? Ano yung mga pag ginagawa mo, masaya ka? Ano yung mga skills na meron ka na ngayon out of all the webinars and trainings that you have done? So all of those are different, will lead you to different set of information na you can use in answering the question, like what are the different components of those nice things or even the challenging things na I think I can pursue in a career. So find those elements. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes you need like 1, 2, 3 jobs pa bago mo talaga ma-figure out na ito na, I found it. Just to share with everyone, I was a call center agent. I was a proud call center agent when I was still in college. So magpo-call center agent ako ng gabi, papasok ako ng school sa Los Baños ng umaga because I was so lost. I just don't know where to start. And one mentor just told me back then, he just told me, start anywhere. Start somewhere, start anywhere. You'll find it. But you need to start somewhere. You need to start somewhere, pick up the pieces of the different jobs na gagawin mo na you enjoy, and then out of that, tuloy-tuloy lang, you'll figure it out one way or another. So ayun na, napapadadaanan naman ako, sorry. Pero I think that's the short answer to that is really just it's a continuous reflection of what I want to do. What am I passionate about? What activities I want to do every time I wake up in the morning. It's so cliche, but that will drive you to all other things that you want to do in this life. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It's like knowing your purpose na po, knowing your why. Kasi dun siya mag-start talaga. So if you wanted your career to grow professionally, sabi nga ni Sir Bry, start dun sa kung ano yung gusto mo talaga. So your why and your purpose. All right. Next is a question from Leila Marie. For the job interview po, Sir Hipolito mentioned na we can actually mention an interviewer's name, but he didn't mention using the words Mr., Sir, Miss, Ma'am. Hindi po ba isa sa mga requirement po yun to show respect?
Okay, this is an interesting question, and I know it's a valid question, and there's a cultural backstory and context to it naman. No? So okay, you can before the interview starts, you maybe you can establish, can I call you, hi, hello ma'am, can I call you po on your first name? You just establish at first, and then if they say, okay, yeah, you can call me Brian, or if they want you to call them Sir Brian, then yeah, just establish that at the onset. You should, it's a conversation, nothing. You should not fear asking that question. So, if you're really shy or nagdadalawang isip ka, maybe you can start with that. Pero yun talaga, most companies, they won't mind be called on their first name. It is very personal actually, like to be called on your first name, and to for someone to remember your first name na as an interviewer, it's already, it's already a good positive thing. So yun, if you're just shy, then yeah, you can ask if how they want to be addressed. So yeah, that's my take.
All right, so I hope that answers your question, Leila Marie. Especially ngayon, sir, no, global na. Nasa Zoom tayo, international, ganyan. It's usual to use first names.
Especially in international organizations, if I can share, or even private companies, it's just first name basis. You don't. Sometimes they don't want you to call them sir or ma'am. It's just first name. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sir Bri. From Johanna, sir, sa training part daw po sa resume, kailangan ba daw pong i-provide yung certificate as proof na nag-participate talaga sa training? And the second question is, when is the right time to negotiate the salary?
Oh wow. Okay. Exciting questions. Trainings. Okay. Sa resume, when you're still at the application part. If there's no instruction on the application, hindi naman upfront na hindi require ka na magpasa ng certificate. Just merely packaging your top trainings would be enough. Now I know some, for example, in government offices, may set of requirements na agad na hinihingi upfront, not just only your resume, cover letter, even TOR, or even some trainings attended. Then if they ask, just provide them the documents right away. If not asked, you don't have to attach it on your resume. So they will ask that if they need that. But for most, like apart from the government, whom I know the government positions, agencies usually ask that. But for private companies, of course, unless they ask, then don't just package it on your resume. Then the second question is, when is the right time to negotiate? The right time to negotiate is when they gave you the first offer, or when the HR person starts talking to you one-on-one about the prospects of you joining their company. So of course, sa initial screening pa lang, remember dun sa interview questions, they can ask you like, okay, what's your expected salary? Kahit wala pa yung dulo ng process, they will try to, there will be trap questions. You can use the tips I gave you to answer those trap questions. Pero yung negotiations, you would know naman if it's at the end of the tunnel now. If the employer made the first move of offering you an initial amount, then counter it with any of the negotiating techniques that I shared with you. Or if the HR person is starting to have a conversation with you, running you through the benefits and stuff, verbal conversation, then that's the time. Usually after the interview naman yan, you would feel as well na, okay, it's an exploration call to discuss about prospects of you joining. So, that's your cue. That's your time to discuss about not only the money, but the other things that are important to you as well. Flex work, vacation time, leave credits, those kind of things.
All right, thank you, Sir Bri. Madami po nagko-comment sa FB Live, sir. Pinaka-favorite daw nila yung negotiating your job offer. Kasi very,
Correct.
hindi siya usual, sir, di ba? Parang ang turo before, bite it na agad, basta may trabaho ka. Parang ganun. So, sabi ko,
Siguro may mga, sorry, siguro may mga may mga kasama na ko sa HR na baka binabato na ako ng virtual kamatis na, bakit mo sinasabi yan sa mga candidates? So 300, 400, 500 na nakapakinig noon. Share it away. It's known in the industry, within HR industry. You just need to leverage your game. Now we know. So yun nga. That's my most favorite part din dito sa bagong piyesa na to.
susunod ka na, sir, yung question ni NJ. Sabi niya, what advice can you say to someone who hesitates in negotiating because of the feeling that she's jumping into a new industry? She has prior experience, but from different industry. Thank you po.
Mindset change. Job application and most especially negotiations, ano yan eh, it's a mental, it requires mental and mindset change. You should be confident. Katulad kanina, di ba? Don't self-disqualify. Don't focus on the things that you don't have. Focus on the areas na meron ka. Even if you're changing industries or changing jobs or specialization, there are transferable skills that you gain from those experiences which you're bringing in this new role. So focus on that, get the confidence at the top of your head, but of course be rational as well. Because it will help you, that confidence, and just by focusing on what you're bringing to the table will fuel you to be more confident in negotiating. So as much as I would like to offer a technique, any technique man ang i-offer ko to anyone I will talk to about this topic, it's really, my mindset is really powerful. If you're on the mindset na I deserve this, I know what I am worth, it will translate into words how you will deliver your requests to the HR person or to the person negotiating with you. That confidence, that mindset will convert to words. So be mindful about mindset, because that changes everything, and that also impacts your performance on interviews. If you always doubt yourself, self disqualify all the things that you can offer, sometimes it affects what you say as well. So yun, mas nagiging humble ka, mas, alam mo yun, nawawala yung fire, nawawala yung confidence. So yun. Tsaka isipin mo na lang, kung nasa offer negotiation stage na kayo, the fact na nag-ubos sila ng oras to interview you, to talk to you, to process you, that's already your validation that you are legitimate, that you are worthy to be offered something. So that's your cue. That's your confirmation that you're worth something, and you should fight for it. You should fight for it with a rational thinking that you know what's worth. The effort that you'll bring to the job, to the company, will be compensated rightfully. What you think is fair, what you think is the market standard for that job. Sorry, parang medyo advocate yung ano. Pero kasi ganun dapat eh. It just all starts with your mindset. In our 6th webinar session, di ba, Doc, our si Doc Monique, Doc Monica will talk about mental health and stuff. So I hope Doc Monica tune in sa that segment of the question, the person who asked that question. I'm sure Doc Monica will offer really good tips on how you will frame your mindset, how you will take care of your mental health, because job application, job interviews, and job offer negotiations are all about mindset as well.
Yes. True enough, sir. Mindset is everything. So I hope that answers your question. Um, sino nga ba ito? Nakalimutan ko sir yung pangalan. Anyway, the next question po is from Sir Brian James Galang. May question siya, sir, pero una muna daw yung takeaway niya ay know your worth. Yun daw po yung kanyang takeaway.
Yes.
And
Amen.
his question is, how important is cultural context of the employer in negotiation?
Okay, okay. Papasok dito. That's a really interesting question. No? Thank you, Brian. Papasok dito yung research mo about the company, 'di ba? Before you even write your cover letter, your resume, we're emphasizing research about the company. So with all of your research from pagsusulat ng resume, pag-apply, pagre-research mo about interviewers and the interview itself, you will actually, sa interview by the way, they're not only getting to know you as a candidate. As a candidate, you're also finding out more about the company, the organization that you're applying for. So it's a two-way street. So all of your research and all of your interactions, you will get a hint. You will have more idea about the context of the organization, about the context of the culture. And again, don't isolate yourself. You need to consult. If you know someone inside the company, connect. If you don't know someone in the company, use LinkedIn, connect to anyone inside the company so that you get more and more information better, because that will help you in shaping your narrative when you go to that offer negotiation stage. You will have indication. Maybe, some people, you'll be very lucky. They will even offer you suggestions and tips. Alam mo, yung kaming mga engineers, ganito, ganyan, ganyan, ganito na yung package sa amin, etc. Although, I mean, you'll be lucky if you can find that, if someone would offer you that, like an existing staff within the organization. But it's an interconnected world. Network and then get us more information and then get as much context about the organization. One way or another, you'll find someone who will be generous, with information and provide you with some key insights on really what to do when the offer negotiation starts. Don't isolate yourself. Go out, network, ask friend of a friend. Use it. In our second session next week, how to create your personal brand and how to network, how to do it on LinkedIn or whatever means. Brian will walk you through on that. So tune in next Friday. How to do it next Friday, you'll know. But yeah, that's my take. It all of your efforts will all piece together. Up until the moment of negotiating begins, you have maraming bala, you have maraming inputs and information. Don't go into a negotiation empty-handed. It's like going to a war with a balisong, or wala ka man lang baril, wala kang bala, di ba? So yun, research and network. Short answer.
Right, research and network. So I hope that answers your question. Si NJ po yung una nagtanong and then si Sir Brian. Alright? And meron po, nakatutok din po sa atin pala si Ma'am Monica, si Ma'am Emily, at si Doc Rina. Sabi niya po, sir, may question siya na when do you change your career daw po? When is the right time to change your career?
Oh my, existential question. I'm scary.
Ang lalim,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, day in, day out, my job is to review resumes. No, I've been doing that in the last 10 years, I think. There's no, okay, my answer is not really an answer. Kasi, okay, job shifts or career shift or industry shifts. If you're in your 20s, like remember my last message, maximize your 20s, because that decade, it's still, it's still not consequential. You're still discovering your why, you're still discovering yourself. You have opportunity to still, test out different jobs. I, for one, tested the BPO call center industry. Then I started recruiting for call center agents, and then so no. Of course, the earlier the better. I mean, within your 20s, medyo ano pa, no? Non-consequential. Now, as you go older, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's a matter of, again, it's a matter of mindset again, and it's a matter of identifying. It's an art. It's an art. It's a matter of identifying the transferable skill sets. Babalik na naman ako sa transferable skill sets. Moving from one industry to another, moving from one job specialization to another. It's all about you yourself is clear what your current job specialization entails and what are your current set of skill sets are. And you should really definitely know what the other industries you're trying to penetrate. What are the fundamentals of that industry and that job? What are the things that you can transfer? And what are the things that you need to catch up? So it's not impossible because you can reskill, you can upskill, you can unlearn and relearn. It's just more dynamic. So there's no limits. You can change careers in 40s, 50s, and then even 60s. You can explore consultancies it happened to a lot of people, and there are wealth of information available to inspirational people who just jump from one industry to another. So it's an art of really linking. I think this is the sweet spot, linking what connects both industries or the job that where you are and where you want to hop, and then really rebuilding your brand, rebuilding your skill sets again, where in the end you will have two sets of big skill sets. You didn't actually shift it, but you gained a new set of brand, new set of portfolio, new set of technical know-how on that new journey. I hope this is based from what I've been hearing from all the conversations I've had to people who actually have done it. I'm pretty amazed by those people who've done it as well, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes courage, but it takes passion. If you feel passionate that you want to do it, I know you will push the boundaries and you will really do it. So you don't really have to shift 100%. Sometimes you can do both at the same time. Like doing these webinars. I see myself like a teacher in an alternate universe, I'll be a teacher. So those are transferable skill sets. I'm doing this work, but I see myself teaching, as an outlet. So if you can find some gray areas or middle ground in between. And ano na naman ako lang masyadong mahaba. Pero yung sagot ka, Doc Rina.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Bryce. So I hope that answers your question, Doc Rina. Due to the interest of time, dalawang question na lang yung ating babasahin. So one is from Victor Francis. Sabi niya po, any tips in searching job opportunities? I heard the best opportunities are not advertised through JobStreet or etc.
Okay, that's a good point. And that's why the next session is really interesting as well. The networking, building your personal brand topic next Friday. Remember, same time, 10 a.m., UPLB LRC, tune in. Because you're right. Whoever asked this question, you're right. There are jobs now before there are companies, usually private companies, sometimes even in governments, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have government experience, but sometimes employers ask recommendations from people internal. Oh, we have a new project. Do you know some people? Because usually advertising is the last resort of some employers if they don't really have within their network or a referral within their current staff, they would resort to advertising, like really get to know random candidates and applications and post jobs. But employers love internal referrals. So the more you network, the more you widen your network, the more you get first dibs of information. Oh, we have a new project, maybe. And then your team leader would announce, oh, do you know an engineer, or do you know a graphic designer, or do you know a fresh graduate who would like to work with us as a Yura? Di ba? Network, 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 because that will just serve you in times that you just unexpect. Di ba? You didn't expect. And yeah, a lot of times, like, yeah, my current job, it's through network as well. And when I was still in Korea, I'm pretty much happy with my work, but it's just LinkedIn did its magic and told me that there's a vacancy at the AIP. So I'm here. So yeah, network. That's the short answer.
Network, sir, because yung opportunities daw, sir, no, hindi yan magla-land sa'yo bigla. Hinahanap mo rin siya. So, you have to network. Alright? And, sir, madami silang questions. May ibang nagtatanong tungkol sa CV, sa resume. Can you also please plug again yung ating first session, sir? Because that's the most comprehensive way to write a resume or CV doon sa ating first session sa GCA pa ba mag-online learning.
Sure, yeah, yes, yeah, we have, okay, yung resume, job interview, very light touch, very generic yung tips ko sa inyo today, because we already had a webinar last year na sobrang comprehensive, just all about writing your resume, part by part, doing job interviews, different frameworks on how to answer different set of questions. I think 2 hours long yung recording na yan. It's on UPLB Learning Resource Center Facebook page. Just look for GCA pa ba, how to ace your resume writing and acing your job interview. It's also on YouTube, so subscribe, follow UPLB Learning Resource Center. All of these webinars are there. The resume writing and job interview, 2-hour long, thorough, in-depth session recorded din doon. So yon, follow lang, look at, share. Feel free to share. This is a free webinar for everyone. Those who have missed it, thank you sa mga kumapit talaga hanggang ngayon. May 350 pa tayong kumakapit. I-share nyo to. Pay it forward, change someone else's life. If you know someone looking for a job, looking for an internship opportunity, feel free to share this. I flashed on the screen earlier my email. Feel free to connect. Happy to do this in your respective schools, in your respective organizations, student organizations, community organizations. So yeah, share away.
Alright, thank you, Sir Bry. Siguro po last na yung kay Joseph Hermitanio. Isa-summarize ko na lang, sir. Parang ang buod po nito ay qualified ka naman, you have the qualifications for the position, but when you applied for a job specifically sa isang government position and you were not chosen because mas pinili yung may kapit or yung may backer, what advice can you give to a person, specifically, sir, sa mga bagong graduates na experience po nito?
Una, I feel you. Of course, it's easier said than done. Easier said than done. Move on. Kasi especially if you're really invested emotionally on that job opportunity. Pero ang i-assure ko sa inyo is that you will find in every opportunity that will close, just think na it's closing because it's opening an even bigger door. Sometimes life has its ways of redirecting you. Sometimes marirealize mo na, oh, hindi ko siya nakuha. I've prayed for that for a long time. Hindi ko siya nakuha. But I was redirected. And nandito ako because of that redirection. So just imagine if natuloy ako doon. So just it's a shift of mindset again. A failure is not a failure. A failure is a redirection. It's a message of the universe to you that there's something bigger in store for you. So don't focus on the negative, I think. It will only get better. You just continue pursuing and passionately applying to a lot of opportunities that you can see in the market. Apply, and get multiple offers, right? This is easier said than done, but as much as you can, don't invest too much emotionally, especially kapag malayo pa sa katotohanan yung mga job. Kasi minsan, di ba, I know it. I've been an applicant as well. Like all of us were, one way or another applied for jobs. When we see a job, we already imagine ourselves working in that position. How cool is it working in that organization? So if you can, like, medyo nagdi-daydreaming ka na or nag-hallucinate ka na for that matter, try to, like, step back. Okay, reality. Back to reality. Wala pa. Kalma lang. Hintayin natin. Mag-apply pa rin tayo na mag-apply. So yun I think yung piece of advice ko. It's a redirection. Don't be sad. Okay, well, be sad. Cry about it for a day, for a week. And then you'll realize it's just a blessing in disguise.
Thank you so much, Sir Bry. Very well said po. So I hope that answers your question, Joseph. All right, Sir Bry, siguro at this point, your message to our participants, to our 300,000 na kumakapit pa rin sa ating Facebook Live. Your message, Sir Bry.
Your final message, dream big. We only have one life, and pursue something na, diba, don't be in a position where you're not genuinely happy. Continuously search for it. Okay, you can stay there for a particular period, pero find that vocation, find that niche, find that sweet spot. Because if you're not happy yet, that means you still need to keep finding it. And don't stop dreaming big. If nakukuha niyo yung goals nyo time by time, celebrate about it. Then just set up new goals every time you achieve some of the goals. If some of the goals are di pa, malayo pa sa katotohanan, just keep dreaming about it. It's all about the mindset. And that will keep you going talaga in this life, in the workforce. Like, don't I'm just sad for people who are trapped, like they categorize the workforce like a rat race. Because for me, it could be different. You can actually, I personally believe you can love your job. You can love what you do. You can really connect very deeply to what you're doing if you just really do everything to find it. But of course, that's not always easy then, no? Pero just continue finding it. And I know one day you'll be in a better place and you will love the life that you're living. You will love the career that you're pursuing. Your pain, your struggles are temporary. You will be in a much better place. Just continue dreaming big. Those are my final words.
All right. Thank you, Sir Bry. Continue dreaming big. So even if you're lost right now, hindi ka mag-stay dyan, just continue dreaming big. All right? There you have it, Mr. Brian Carlo Hipolito. Thank you so much, sir. Now we would just like to flash once again yung ating selfie challenge. Meron lang pong konting pagbabago dun sa ating selfie challenge. I hope nag-participate na po kayo dun sa ating selfie challenge because sabi nga ni Sir Brian, no, dream big and you have to manifest it if you want it to really come true. At I attest po dyan. Pag talagang minamanifest mo either sa Twitter, sinulat mo sa journal, ay talagang somehow nagkakatotoo. So, mag-post na po kayo ng inyong selfies or groovies on the thread found in UPLB LRC page. We will be choosing one winning entry and the best selfie. At dinagdagan po ang prize ng ating very passionate and generous speaker na si Sir Bry. Gagawin niya na pong 1,000 po yung prize for our selfie challenge. Basta i-manifest na lang daw po yung ating question for this day is, what is your goal for your professional or career growth. All right? And we have another challenge, yung TikTok challenge. Nasa TikTok na rin po kami, i-follow niyo po kami. This will be until the 21st po yung pag-submit ng entries. You just have to create a TikTok video on the theme Manifesting 2022 Goals. So one video is equal to one entry, and entries should be posted publicly on your TikTok accounts. You just have to tag UPLB LRC on TikTok and use the hashtags BetterMe2022 and hashtag LRC New Year Better You. The top 3 entries with the most likes by 21 February 2022 at 5 p.m. shall be considered for judging. And yung ating criteria po, I think 4 lamang po yung criteria natin dito. First is yung message and content, 30%, creativity, 25%, originality, 25%, and audience impact, or yung sa likes po ay 20%. And yung prices po natin sa mga mananalo, yung first ay 500, yung second ay 300 pesos, and then yung third ay 200 pesos. So pang-load na rin po yan sa ating mga internet. Please follow us on TikTok at UPLB LRC. All right, so now at this point, Team LRC would like to take this opportunity to thank our speaker for his valuable time. So to award the Certificate of Appreciation, may I kindly recognize our Director, John Mervin L. Embate. Sir JM, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Ate She. And thank you everyone for attending our webinar, and especially to our resource person, Brian. Maraming salamat for sharing some very helpful and practical tips on how we can advance our career growth, how to write a resume, how to write a cover letter, how to do our interview, and most especially how to negotiate. Ang key takeaway ko talaga dito yung paulit-ulit na sinasabi natin, know your worth, know your purpose, no? Dahil importante ito, makakapag-negotiate tayo kapag alam natin kung gaano ba tayo ka-importante, no? Gaano ba natin kagusto yung gusto nating applyan na trabaho. Actually, isa din sa mga napansin ko while listening to Sir Brian, yung paggagawa natin ng resume, no? It can be a source of it can be an empowering activity for all of us, no? Kapag ginagawa natin yung resume natin, because it can remind us kung ano ba yung mga areas pa sa buhay natin that we can still shine, ano pa yung mga kailangan nating i-develop or i-enhance. But most especially, it also provides us an opportunity to reflect kung ano ba yung mga skills, knowledge, and passion na meron tayo at pwede natin ibahagi sa ibang tao, no? Most especially doon sa organization na ina-applyan natin. And I think maganda ring opportunity yung pag-exercise natin whenever we update our resume to validate yung mga sarili natin, because life has been very difficult for all of us this past few years, no? Pero kapag tinitingnan natin yung mga resume natin, nare-remind tayo kung ano ba yung mga achievements natin, ano yung mga successes natin, at kung gaano natin na-overcome yung mga battles natin in the past few years. And I think it also sends us a very important message, most especially doon sa mga graduating students natin or mga graduate pa lang ng mga students natin in pandemic time, na probably there's a feeling of insecurity, na parang iba yung skill set ko doon sa skill set ng mga graduate ng pre-pandemic time. Pero isang revelation itong lecture sa atin ni Sir Brian, para maintindihan natin na marami tayong mga na-acquire na mga panibagong skill set, at marami tayong mga na-experience na hindi na-experience sa mga pre-pandemic graduates, which we can use to our advantage. So sana ay na-inspire tayong lahat at na-empower tayo to advance our career growth at yung sinasabi ni Sir Brian kanina, to dream big, no? At sana ay manatili tayong strong and tenacious sa ating paggagawa ng resume, sa ating paggagawa ng cover letter at sa pag-negotiate natin. At sana mag-transcend din yun, mag-bleed din yun, no? Kapag ine-enjoy na natin yung benefits ng mga trabaho na na-achieve natin or nakuha natin. So once again, maraming salamat po, and hopefully you still join us itong 500,000 strong na ating mga subscribers sa next 5 sessions natin sa New Year Better You series natin. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, Sir JM. And once again, thank you, Sir Bry. Now, for the evaluation of this session, please do not forget to answer the evaluation form after this webinar to receive your e-certificate of participation. So the link has been sent to you already to your emails for those who registered. Your comments and suggestions will be deeply appreciated by our team. #TeamLRC. So once again, the link will be up until 1 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday. So don't forget na ma-submit lahat ng inyong mga responses on or before 1 p.m. tomorrow. Or nakikita nyo rin po sa ating screen yung QR code. You can screenshot that po or i-scan nyo lang po yan and you will be directed to the evaluation link right away. So we hope you all gained inspirations and valuable insights from our speaker this morning. Just a reminder, meron pa po tayong second session. So that's for Friday again, next Friday, same time, January 28, 2022. If you haven't registered yet po, please do so. Ito po napaka-exciting nung topic. It's how to build your personal brand with Sir Brian James Galang. So, wag nyo pong palampasin yan. Don't miss your chance. Register na po kung hindi pa nakakapag-register para po masendan kayo ng mga reminders. Alright? At this point, we would like to recognize and thank our team, #TeamLRC and the New Year Better You team headed by our director, Sir JM Embate, with the support of our Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Janet H. Malata Silva. On our technical side is our University Research Associate, Joshua Michael J. Jonas, and our Project Development Associate, Ms. Ana Margarita Palma. A big shout out as well to Team LRC's 2 other members, Tita Allen and Kuya Iwok. Hindi man po namin sila kasama dito sa screen. Sama-sama po kami at tulong-tulong sa lahat ng programa ng LRC. Again, a big thank you to Sir Brian Carlo Hipolito for our very informative morning, our very passionate speaker for this morning. So to end, let me just share my humble reflections for our session today. Sir Bry keeps on repeating, upskill and dream big while we are here in this challenging time. So for some of us, we are again in the waiting game. This 2022 may be for some, they will hit the ground running, yet we are faced with unprecedented challenges again, like isolation, frustration, disruptions, distress, uncertainty, stress, anxieties. Sometimes it's disappointing and tempting to give in to despair, but we have a choice though. What will it be? Is it going to be sink or swim? So let's remember that we give ourselves power when we realize we have a choice in this. We've gone through this adversity in 2020 and together we surpassed it. And choosing growth is a choice that we have to make every day, every hour, every minute, and every second. So together, let's choose growth and light amidst the chaos. Together, let's keep on going, keep on learning, and keep on growing. We may not have the answers right now, but don't give up just yet. Our miracles might be just around the corner. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning. Stay hopeful, stay happy, and stay healthy. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you, and God bless us all.